72 hours after the rescue of 39 school pupils and teachers abducted in Oriire local government area of Oyo State, lawmakers reconvened for plenary with glowing tributes to the nation's security personnel, as contained in a motion sponsored by the Senate's leader.
That the abduction represented a disturbing expansion of organized criminal activities into the southwest geopolitical zone and constituted a direct attack on the right of every Nigerian child to education in a safe and secure environment. The successful rescue operation was achieved at considerable cost as gallant members of the Nigerian Armed Forces and the Nigerian Police Force displayed extraordinary courage, patriotism, and uncommon professionalism in confronting the terrorists, leading to the ultimate sacrifice of Lieutenant F.A. Isaac, then Private Silas Musa, 81 Battalion, Nigerian Army, and Sergeant Abena John Jerome.
From the government of President Goodluck Jonathan, we have recorded about 1,700 pupils abducted. And I also know that there's a safe school initiative established by the government. My question is it working?
Everybody is bothered. As it is today, we feel that another community will soon witness this same occurrence. It's like, where next will it happen? The same intelligence that they have used or that they are using to rescue all these abducted children should also be used to forestall it.
In summary, the need for us to incorporate the provision of psychological support, trauma counseling, and rehabilitation for the rescued victims, not just for the Oyo victims, but every other kidnapped victims.
During the debate, lawmakers also harped on the continued captivity of many school children and victims held by kidnappers across the country.
Some school children are still in captivity. Therefore, I urge the military to show the same bravery in the rescue of these children in Askira Oba local.
We're back now in our studios in Abuja, and Mr. Laulu Akande is here with us in the studios, a former presidential aide and also current host of Channels Television's Inside Sources. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you. Good news emanating from your state, at least giving us something to cheer.
Yeah, the rescue.
This week, yes, the rescue. Even though there are still people who do not believe that it was a rescue, but at least we saw that there were visuals to back that this was a rescue. And we've been seeing, it's been in the news also, the governor of the state asking for a probe, the circumstances. He wants to know if there was collusion, etc., etc.
It was an independent probe from the United Nations.
Yes, the Senate has reacted to that. Right. So as the presidency reacting through Mr. Bayo Onanuga that this is politics taking too far. I'm sure you have been sitting and observing all that is going on and making your thoughts on them. What do you want to share?
Well, quite a few things, but maybe we should start from the point of view of saying that, look, this is a situation where anybody who looks at the facts and the what has happened objectively, you cannot deny that this is actually a rescue. We have bodies, we have people that have been killed. You know, I don't think that all of that could happen. You have people that have been killed. You know, we have a fair amount of information of the innovative intelligence that was engaged. You know, how it is that the terrorists, you know, I call them terrorists, you know, how they were isolated and cut off from their supplies, you know, and clearly, you know, nobody has even come out to make any claim that anybody exchanged money. I mean, how could that be when we even know that a number of the terrorists have been neutralized? So I think the debate on whether there's a controversy about whether there was a rescue, I think that is very useless, really. This was a rescue. You know, what I think we should try to understand is how can we turn this, you know, into a template? You know, how is it that this was possible? I mean, some people even said that 56 days is long. Well, hey, well, it's all good that ends well. You know, we all wish that this happened much earlier. But it did happen, and those folks are back at home. So that is a very good thing. We must commend the president. We must commend the military. We must commend the police. We must commend the DSS and even the local, Amotekun and the rest of them. Because everybody worked together and we have this result.
The question about safe schools came up as a result of this. And the lawmaker representing the parts where Oriire is located, he was here. Yeah. And he said to us, there's nothing like safe school in that area. I remember that you were at the launch of the Safe Schools Initiative.
I've even interviewed the person that is in charge of Safe School Initiative.
What's the status of the thing? What's going on?
I think from the...
And where's our money?
From the last time that I had a conversation with, because that office is domiciled in the Ministry of Finance.
Yes.
And the idea was that, just so they can get money to get this done. But I don't think that they have advanced very significantly. The last time I was trying to get involved in the matter, it was a question of, they haven't released the money. So I don't know how far the Safe School Initiative has gone, regrettably. But to come back to the issue of the governor, which is the second point that Marco had raised, I think that if you don't look at what Governor Akande has said, if you remove the political perspective, which, it is legitimate for people to say, okay, but what he's saying essentially is that Nigerians, including himself, a governor, does not trust our institutions. And that is something that ought to give all of us a bit of concern. If he's saying that we don't know what happened. Now, he is the chief security officer of Oyo State. And if he's coming out to say that we don't know what happened, that is a very grave statement. It's a very grave statement. If nobody knows what happened...
Is it that he didn't know what happened?
He ought to be the person
to do. Or he is befuddled at how things happened, or wondering how things could have failed to have happened.
Yeah, I mean, he made quite a bit of insinuations suggesting that there is more to what happened than meets the eye. So, and of course, it's political season, so, people making political implications is also open season for that. But the point I want to emphasize is that even our politicians don't have trust in the institutions, not talk about the people. And that is why it's important for us to take ourselves a little bit more seriously than we currently do. And yes, I think Ambassador Jimoh Ibrahim has responded that, look, Mr. Governor, you don't know what I'm talking about. United Nations has no business about internal investigations. Nigeria has its own structures, which is a correct position by the ambassador. But the point of the governor is that we don't trust ourselves. We need to build institutions that are not partisan. We need to build structures that, whether you are in power today or you are out of power tomorrow, it will give us what it ought to give us. It is very worrying and alarming that a governor, a sitting governor, is saying we don't know what happened. I would like to ask him a few questions about specifically what he meant. If we had the opportunity, people should ask him, people should ask Makinde, okay, tell us specifically what are your specific areas of doubt. Because, so what we know is that those people were, abducted, I think on May 15, on May 17, one of them was beheaded. We saw the video. Another person died, and the military and, they organized, and now they've been released. Mr. Governor, is that not the accurate, sequence of events? Are there other things that you are wondering? So Makinde holds Nigerians to give us a little bit more detail about what he has said. But I don't think they should shout him down. The guy is a sitting governor, but he then owes us more responsibility to tell us specifically what it is. And calling the UN, it just shows that the government is ignorant. But to raise the point that these issues ought to be properly investigated, it's not a bad thing, but you tell us specifically what does he have in mind.
Well, it's... Yeah, Kayla.
Yes, we are running out of time, and we have quite a number of things to get to before the top of the hour. This arrest of Adeni Adeyemi, this alleged fake agency, he's in police custody. At least he was arrested in Osun State. What do you make of this whole matter?
Well, you know, it's getting messier, you know, and the arrest, you know, yeah. The judge says that he didn't come to court. You know, they said there has been 5.
It was a bench warrant. He failed, which is the reason why he's arrested. Yeah.
Exactly. I was listening yesterday to, you know, the gentleman who came out to speak for Mr. Gbajabiamila. And what it is that we must remind ourselves is that, look, whether the president is bold enough to ask Gbaja to step aside, or whether Gbaja has the decency, the simple decency to help the president by stepping aside, you cannot befuddle Nigerians about what it is that is happening.
You think he should step aside?
Gbaja holds it to himself, to his family, and to the president and to Nigerians to step aside. It is just the common human decent thing to do.
What if he has
anything short of that? He doesn't.
What if he has nothing to do with this? What if this? What if the letter was fake?
It does have many things to do with it, and I'll explain to you why that is not supposed to be an argument. The guy has then told us, for instance, that the budget, the itemizing of the agency in the budget, he knew nothing about it.
He was shocked.
Now, I'm not saying whether what he said is true or not, but you cannot have somebody making those very significant, huge claims about people that are in government, and then the people are still sitting down there. How do you ever think it will create an impression of trust? How do you think that people will consider that the investigation that the president has ordered is going to be fair? If they are still there, they can still make moves.
But if we continue, because there are people, you know how this thing works, Mr. Loud. People can make up stories and scream really, really loud because they know that Nigerians will say there is no smoke without fire. Even if nothing happens, the person will have to step aside. Your political enemies can actually, you know, start to use that against you. If we always have to do that, then what if it just continues that way? Are we not creating some kind of some kind of machinery where people can just use, because they scream the loudest and slung mud at somebody, because of that he has to step aside? How do we manage this line?
The way we manage it is very simple. Because let me tell you, I was privy to a conversation by one of the closest friends of the president, and Gbaja's name came up. I said, no, don't talk about Gbaja. Gbaja is running up and down trying to solve his problem. So the fact that he's still in government is just it's a poor reflection. The man cannot do any other thing now until he sorts out this nonsense. Don't let's pretend. Wherever he is right now, the man is troubled. Mr. Gbajabiamila right now is troubled. He cannot focus on any other thing until this trouble goes away. Is it not therefore easier to just say that, look, I want this thing to be, you know, transparently sorted out?
Should Mr. Akume also step aside?
Well, Mr. Akume has not been directly mentioned the way
that letter came to his desk. The least he could have done was verify.
I'm not saying, you know, the person who is making the allegations has not mentioned Mr. Akume. I'm not saying that Mr. Akume should not also be questioned, no. But Akume's name has not been, and I heard the gentleman yesterday trying to say that it's not only Gbaja, you know, that is involved. But guess what? This guy, the Adeyemi guy, who is the center person, has not mentioned any other person. When investigation gets there, they should do what is right. But for now, Gbaja's name has been mentioned again. How do you think it was possible, if what this guy is saying is true, that he didn't know anything about how the budget, that he was even in detention when they put in the budget?
So let me bring this up. It's interesting that you watched Mr. G.T. Ogunye yesterday, who's representing Mr. Gbajabiamila. But I do not know if you also managed to watch that of Osita, the representations of Osita Chidoka, who had a very interesting perspective on this. And he says that this is something a government not to see as an accusation, but something that should bring back a sense of reforms within our institutions, that there's too much deference to names and powers, and people are too unwilling to ask questions, which, by the way, means that we need to commend very seriously the courage it took the NIPC to raise questions about the existence of this phantom agency, and also the Ministry of Foreign Affairs that brought this to the fore, that who is this person inviting foreign diplomats without inviting the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, because clearly that would have taken some courage. But looking at what he said at the end of the day, what would be most interesting is that even the Chief of Staff knows that he does not have the authority to issue any letter of appointment. And that the basis of this man's entire claims, all of the basis, falls on a purported letter of appointment which was said to have come from the office of the Chief of Staff. And that it will be very key. Key to this will be the investigation of that particular letter. And until that is done, to say that this indeed came from the office of the Chief of Staff, that he believes that the Chief of Staff should remain in office.
Okay, let me say the place where Chidoka got it wrong. So it is the proper procedure, indeed, for presidential appointments to come from the SDF. But guess what? There are instances where that is not the case. I'm going to say here for the first time on public TV that when the presidential advisor, I think it was Ajuri, became a presidential envoy or something, even Bajaya had in the news. And the Secretary to Government Federation didn't know about it. And it was out there.
UN envoy appointment.
No, not UN envoy. I think climate change.
Climate change. Oh, yeah.
The SDF, I'm saying it and I'm challenging any of them to counteract what I'm saying. The SDF was not aware. Bajaya himself was not aware.
So where did it come from?
So it came from the presidency. So I'm saying that even though the procedure is for these things to come from the SDF, like Chidoka said, what Chidoka did not say is that there are instances where that is not followed through. As a matter of fact, there are also certain kinds of appointments that are made for people who work in the villa or in the presidency that doesn't come from the SDF.
Yeah, so that was
So that is not an excuse at all.
In fairness to him, he made those kinds of differentiations. He talked about difference between a council, which the president can set up unilaterally, and a commission. And a commission such as what this gentleman
I think,
was said to have been headed.
I think we're just
going around in circles.
It's a mumbo jumbo.
Okay.
What it is that this guy is claiming that he has a letter of appointment. And people are saying that, oh yeah, the letter of appointment, Chief of Staff doesn't have the power to have letters of appointment. I am saying to you that there are times when people get appointed properly without doing the proper thing. And they walk in the villa and they get on assignment. So why that is true that it should come from SDF? And I just give you an example here on national TV of a situation where the presidential spokesperson made an announcement that the Chief of Staff was not aware of that the SDF. So these things happen.
I think the point he was trying to make also is that questions now then need to have been raised to say, is this proper? Mr. President, did you really make?
And that is the reason why the names that have been mentioned, that this thing initiated from your office, you need to step aside so that there is a dispassionate. Like I said to you, the man cannot do any other thing, even while in that office. He cannot focus until this matter is sorted out. So it's just being fair to himself, being fair to his family, and most importantly, being fair to the president and to Nigerians to just step aside. By the way, ICPC that the president has given the assignment to do this work, they ought to have given us some kind of information. It's now 1 week that the president said, I'm giving you 30 days. ICPC has not said a word. Now, that's not right.
So we need to put some fire under the...
Yeah, ICPC needs to tell us, yes, Mr. President has said, and we are going to do a dispassionate work. At the very least, ICPC ought to assure us that that is going to happen. Even assure the President that the assignment that you have given us, we are on to it.
All right, so ICPC, over to you. We're hoping that you've heard this and that you will issue, a response to let Nigerians know that you heard the President's directive at the minimum. Mr. Lalo Akande, it's always a delight speaking with you. There are so many more issues to take up, but let's rest it here. And wait till next week, Thursday.
Next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for speaking with us this morning. He's a former presidential aide. That's why you know so much. He's an insider. And also the host of Channel Television's Inside Sources, which you can catch, by the way, tomorrow and Sunday. Thank you for watching Sunrise Today this beautiful Thursday morning. It's raining. Sunshine is still here. We're here. You can catch us online as well. Thank you for watching. I'm Mal Yusuf.
Have a great day ahead. Stay safe. If you're driving, hey, the roads are very slippery. Take it easy. I'm Kayla Magwa. Business Morning is at the top of the hour.